The X will be huge. Colin Hoban and one of the best in the country in Zach Cole for St. Joe's.
Colin Hoban leads the team in ground balls with 102, so he's going to have to rake and really use a lot of his countering against Zach Cole, as he is one who likes to win it up and player on the field. Battled all those injuries, but once he gets on a tear, he's a really good player.
Maillet on the doorstep, and what a stop by the sophomore Shane Ryan.
Maillet tried to go.
7 seconds left on the man up for St. Joe's. Here's Page. Down low, and the Hawks on the board first.
Late slide from Highpoint on the man down. Couple seconds left there. It's going to be Steven Dwyer on the goal. 6'4", big boy, 259, and he uses that power and stings that top corner there.
The grad transfer from Wagner on the board first for St. Joe's.
Yeah, an amazing goal there. Saw the open up.
The best assist man in the SoCon last year. And so much is made about the loss of Asher Nolting, but when you talk to this Highpoint coaching staff, the number one thing that sticks out is the balance. They've got so many more scoring threats now. The offense doesn't run through one guy.
And that was the thing you had with Asher, is that you didn't have
Maillet
that balance.
Bounces it home.
And there's the balance there, the control on that shot. Braden Maillet has got it. The Canadian guy always shows his box.
Highpoint, yet another clean clear. And Mike, coming into the day, we spoke about turnovers and clean clears as big keys for Highpoint. So far, so good.
Yeah, they're finding the right guys here, like Colin Cook, who can really stretch the field with his legs, and guys like Hunter Vine, who can stretch the field with his legs as well. Really, really smart players.
Skip pass, and Van Overbeck adds another tally.
Nick Murphy putting it on an absolute rope for Van Overbeck. You don't see that every day. Stretching the field with that pass. Murphy saw him open into the corner of his eye on that far post, and Van Overbeck scores in style here. Check this out. Vano, underhand. So the depth may not be there, but the versatility of the players on the roster is.
And that's something Taylor Ray raved about when we spoke to him yesterday. A lot of the versatility, guys who have stepped into new roles, and he's got some young guys who've really impressed as Page levels it up right on the edge of the crease.
Yeah, Carter Page, really just an unstoppable move there. Fighting hard on his defender, and it looks like they're going to wave that one off, actually.
They do. They're going to call a crease violation. And now they count it. Take another look at this, Mike.
Yeah, here's the replay. I see. Before he took that shot, his knee went down, and they're going to call him in the crease there. A good look, good attendance here for St. Joe's. All the way in North Carolina.
Had the tailgate pregame, a giant tent, tons of St. Joe's parents in attendance.
They know how to get it done.
Bomer trying to wrap around, denied on the doorstep. Doesn't matter anyways. Perimeter shot goes for the Hawks. And it looks like Griffin Mallory. St. Joe's with their second lead of the afternoon.
St. Joe's getting their second lead. If you look on the replay here, you'll see the goal scorer, Mallory, with a nice step down low to low.
They are close game, battle tested for sure, but they also tend to let teams hang around quite a bit.
They had a tough loss to Drexel in the beginning of the season. Not a team that St. Joe's is going to be losing to.
And that's going to help for Highpoint. An absolute snipe from Jackson Lamb.
Jackson Lamb with a laser from way downtown. Jackson Lamb, the Gainesville native. He's got a crazy fast first step. Has had back-to-back 4-goal games, UMass and Hobart. And he's showing that offensive effectiveness today. Check out this great angle of the shot. Offhand.
Posted 4 double-digit save performances in his last 5 games. Looks well on his way to a 5th in the last 6.
Yeah, and is a great communicator with his defense as well. His defense trusts him, and that's the biggest thing you can have as a goalie is trust within your defense, and that only makes you better.
Mudlaugh wins the race to the ball, dominated, although Maia did have a goal as well to his name. Sawyer draws a slide, now finds Vines, who tickles the back of the twine. And Colin Cook with his second.
It's going to be Van Overback to Jackson Lamb. Van Overback does a really amazing job there of surveying the field, taking a step back, slowing things down, and then automatically speeding things, picking things right back up with a nice laser inside. Jackson Lamb does a great job of protecting his stick. That's some pretty good company to be up there with a lot of guys and that you don't really see a lot of ACC players you see up there, but kudos to Cole for showing that the A10 can play.
Murphy misses the cage, and St. Joe's clears with no real issue. One of the first unproblematic clears we've seen today from the Hawks, a usually sound unit on that front.
Well, Shane Ryan just threw a dime, an absolute dime.
And now Jack McGorry, the short stick, ties things back up.
And kudos to Alex Keener getting things started there. Shane Ryan to Keener.
Let's take another look at this, Mike.
Here's the replay. You'll see where Richens goes down. Just came in a little too hot. Looks like he tripped over his own feet there and went down like a ton of bricks and flying away and giving nothing up for Highpoint.
If you're just joining us, this has been a good one. And Lamb from way downtown with a hat trick.
Jackson Lamb is him. Welcome to the show. It's the Jackson Lamb show today. A hat trick. An early hat trick for Jackson Lamb. What a missile. An absolute rocket. You'll see on the replay this amazing step down. Sees the open lane and fires right away. Really good job at riding against this team. They're running a 10-man ride, so they have somebody surveying throughout the middle of the field and really playing the quarterback and watching that midfield line, so they've done a good job there.
St. Jem just took Dwyer, who shoots out a play, and if I'm not mistaken, Pete St. Jem is probably heading to the penalty box.
Yeah, they're going to get him on a hold here. Grabbing right around his neck. That's a very risky check.
Now slung across, and St. Joe's level once again. 2 for 3 on man-ups, and there's your guy, Tucker Brown.
Yeah, Tucker Brown is an all-in Dodger. He likes to play like a Canadian. A lot of hezzies, a lot of fakes. Plays like a box player, but check out this rocket. From downtown, stick side high.
A grad student with his 15th of the year, now at the 20-point mark for St. Joe's.
He loves that left hand and gets that left-hand shot opportunity.
Cole's mauled by a slew of Highpoint defenders. It doesn't matter anyway. Now Page and Highpoint has flipped, or St. Joe's has flipped this on its head.
Costly mistake. Highpoint going man down, and St. Joe's is getting ready to go on a run here. Carter Page getting on the board. An absolute textbook goal from Carter Page here, as you'll see on the replay. Dropping his stick low, getting Parker Green's hands to drop. Carter Page has it as well.
Page is the A10's goal leader. He added one more there. So Highpoint has had this flipped on its head, and another one for the Hawks. It's Levi Anderson's first of the day.
Levi Anderson getting on the board. An actual Canadian, 34 goals, a big, strong guy, 6'4", really uses his size here on Jake Joy and finds the back of the net. Levi.
Huge possession here defensively for Highpoint. Bomer feeds to the doorstep, and Page adds another.
And there's Matt Bomer, the quarterback, a very balanced and athletic Dodger. There's a great feeder, and he feeds it right here, facilitating Wow. What an amazing look. A simple dip and dunk to Carter.
And the Hawks have turned this game around with their more efficient shooting, but it's also started at the face-off X. They've won the last 4. Skips it back to the pole, and a pole goal for St. Joe's. Cole Peters, the senior.
Cole Peters. My goodness.
And it's Matt Popek, a long stick midfielder. A 5-0 run for St. Joe's.
Matt Popek has been coming off the bench for a bulk of his career, and wow. I love a pole goal. That's an amazing rip.
Jackson Lamb already has a hat trick. He's looking to stop the bleeding for Highpoint. If you're just joining us, this has been an absolute barn burner. But the St. Joe's Hawks on a 5.
It has been all Hawks this second quarter.
Page looking for another, takes a heavy check and the ball pops free. Brenflick off to the races. Now Maea narrowly misses the outside pipe. Thursday up in Richmond for the A-10 semifinals. Highpoint locked down their place for good with the Hobart loss to Massachusetts yesterday.
This is just some bragging rights. Who gets to go into next match with a win?
Highpoint trying to get a bit closer. They get back on the board. 4 goals now for Jackson Lamb. He's tied his career high in goals in a game here in the first half.
And that's going to be the 3rd time this season that Jackson Lamb is going to put up 4 worthwhile.
So here's Rizzo looking to provide some more life for Highpoint, which broke up the 5-0 run just before the break. Now Hunter Vines, who's been a fixture in this midfield for Highpoint over the course of his career. Tight angle shot and into the back of the cage. Great finish from Van Overbeck.
Van Overbeck is just a prolific offensive attacker. There are very few players in college lacrosse that move the way that he does, and just look at that. The fluidity, the catch right into his shooting.
Sawyer. Quick feed across, and a crease violation against Van Overbeck.
That's a great move from Sawyer.
Key entering today. Highpoint hasn't been able to push tempo a ton this afternoon. St. Joe's has had more success with that. Tucker Brown one-on-one and puts it in the back of the cage.
Tucker Brown. An amazing goal there. Sticking his left hand, moving to his right side, walking the dog. He's guarded closely by Mudlaff.
Coach Ray has certainly done that. We've also seen John Torpy do that a bit more.
Maea Isaiah Morin Weeks is a guy who Torpy is very high on, a very special Canadian guy. Just needs to build up a little bit more confidence.
High-low action, and the Hawks sink it once again. There's Carter Page with his second.
Carter Page. Once again, check out the replay. Early offense for these Hawks. They love to do it, and they're...
And look, a guy who leads the A-10 in goals isn't going to be down for very long, is he?
No, sir.
Now Bomer wraps around, and he gets on the board.
Speaking of our guy, yeah, literally on cue. The broadcaster's cursed.
Inside on Brenflick. So many physical Dodgers on this St. Joe's squad, and another goal for the Hawks. More of 1v1 in the alleys.
There's a shorty on a shorty there. The Hawks getting on the board.
Griffin Mallory with his second of the day.
And Mallory, seeing that he has the shorty matchup, I'm sure he
Van Overbeck, goal line extended. They've just been unable to find a window on these one-on-one dodges all day, Highpoint. Turnaround from the edge of the crease, and a tough finish for Colin Cook from goal line extended.
A tough finish indeed, but Colin Cook, like I said earlier, the most physically capable player on the field. He's had 3 times this year where he had 3-point performance, notably Duke and Navy, finishing off with Queens, and he gets a goal here.
Every time they've needed a big face-off, though, Zach Cole and company have come through. Cole the Fogo takes a rip. And Joy comes away with it. Mudlaff pushing tempo. Rockets one. And a good stop there from Ryan. St. Joe's wins the battle over the ground ball.
They are so good on the ground. These poles.
Anderson has a step, and he's got another.
Simple pick and roll for Levi Anderson, and gets through that pick, gets Brent Flack caught up in that pick. He tries to go up and over and through, but gives Levi Anderson enough room and gets his hand.
St. Joe's has started to rack up these man-up opportunities, and they've converted pretty decently today. Bomer, quick feed. Anderson on the quick stick. Perfectly rehearsed and designed for St. Joe's.
Just about to say that. That is something that they do in practice, and that worked out just the way you'd want to see it.
Highpoint takes a timeout. Let's look at Anderson's third of the day.
Levi Anderson's third of the.
Now May denied on the wraparound. Long range effort for Rizzo, no issue for Shane Ryan, who's been so solid there all day.
That's an easy save for Shane Ryan. Cool little wrap check there, but the Hawks get it.
Sawyer. Nice turnaround and a tough finish. Sawyer back on the board.
There we go. Jack Sawyer getting on the board. Starting things off. Saw him go down earlier on a similar shot attempt, but gets that opportunity right back here. He has the short stick opportunity, close defense on top, throws the fake, a hezzy, and then fires out.
Over to Pennsylvania, and the rest is history. He's been so fantastic from the jump, a consensus All-American a year ago.
Yeah, and recruiting when it comes to high school ball.
Turnaround, Trey Ika puts a tally on the board for St. Joe's.
Trey Ika, sophomore young guy. That's going to be his third goal of the season. Not as a consistent offensive player you would like to see from Draper, Utah. See the replay. There's not a defender in sight, and
Bomer trickles to the edge of the crease, and he stepped in it.
crease violation.
Van Overbeck directs traffic. Lamb adds a 5-piece.
Jackson Lamb, 5 goals on the day.
Will back up for the Hawks. Sam Goldfarb, Mike Guerrier, the final home game of the year for Highpoint. They will have one more game. It'll be against this very same St. Joe's team on Thursday. And you wonder how much you take away from this, because both teams did play their starters a bit of time, but you wonder if they hid some plays in the trick book. Bag of tricks, I should say. Step downhill. And once again, It's Tucker Brown getting on the board for St. Joe's.
And that's going to be a hat trick for Tucker Brown today. It's guarded closely by Weston Benson, but just uses.
It's all academic now for both these squads as they gear up for next week's postseason meeting. Highpoint gets back on the board.
In a Sports Center top 10 highlight type play from Maia. He is not a stranger to those kind of plays, and my goodness, does he do it there. What an effective goal from Maia. Sawyer threading the needle. And Maia, an amazing shot selection. Underhand, that's just another walk in the park.
The Hawks secure a 17-11 victory in the regular season finale. They lock down the 1 seed, and they'll face off against these very same Panthers next week in Richmond. Mike, your big takeaways from this one?
Yeah, capping off today, the face-off X was in full control for the Hawks. They really controlled the pace of this game, and if I'm Highpoint heading into next weekend, I want to be in the film room, studying up, trying to figure out different ways to counter and attack the X and try to control that pace of the game, get the momentum shift on their side, and tighten things up on their man-down defense. But otherwise,